Okay. All right. Oh, evening all. Oh, hello. It's Story Pup. It's Story Pup. Hey there. Yeah. Athena. There you go. Good girl. You don't have to hang off the edge, you know. No. Hey guys. So, man, I went through all of our holiday boxes tonight, or today, not tonight, but today, and I could not find that book. I don't know what happened to it. I looked throughout the entire house. I don't know what happened. I remember that we had it when we moved to Texas. I don't remember what happened to it on the move from Texas to Nevada. And I feel like I had it at the last house that we lived at here in Nevada, but I'm not 100% sure now. So I think I've lost it. It really sucks because it was a nice book. So I might troll Amazon later, or peruse it rather, not troll it. That doesn't make any sense. We're tired. But we do have the, I guess, continuing with the theme of compilation Bible stories. We've got the Berenstain Bears Storybook Bible. I don't think we've read this yet on the live stream, so that's good. Of course, there'll be stories that we've heard before, because we've read through the entire Bible, and then we read that other book with the 66 stories and various other little mini books. So they're not going to be new stories technically, but it's a different way of telling them. Mildly. Same basic stories. Okay. Ready, buddy? All right, let's get this show on the road, right? Yeah? Yeah, you need to learn how to husky curl from your husky sister. You've got this really cute curl down, but you could just like, yeah. That would just be adorable. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There it is. All right, let's start. It was time for Papa Bear to read Brother, Sister, and Honey a bedtime story. But the cubs couldn't agree on a story. Brother wanted an exciting story about space grizzlies. Sister wanted a nice story about princesses. Honey wanted a happy story about bunnies or chipmunks. Let's read a Bible story, said Papa. The Bible has all kinds of stories. Exciting ones, nice ones, happy ones, even serious ones. The cubs liked Bible stories. They were all about sword fights and floods and wild animals, all sorts of interesting things. Okay, brother and sister agreed, and even Honey clapped. So Papa got out the storybook Bible and began to read. The cubs had fun imagining that all the characters in the stories were bears, just like them. The Old Testament, in the beginning, Genesis 1. In the beginning, God made the heaven and the earth. First, all was dark. But God said, let there be light. And there was light. God called the light day, and he called the darkness night. That was the first day, and it was very good. God said, let the heavens appear. The heavens stretched over great waters. God called the heavens sky, and that was the second day, and it was very good. God made dry land appear. God called the waters sea, and he called the land earth. God covered the earth with plants and trees. That was the third day, and it was very good. God made the sun and the moon and the planets and the stars. He placed them in the heavens. That was the fourth day, and it was good, very good. God made all the creatures that live in the sea and fly in the air. He made the great whales and the fish and the birds. That was the fifth day, and it was very good. God made all the animals that live on the earth. He made deer and giraffes, hippos and lions, bugs and slugs, turtles and frogs. Then he made a man and a woman. They were called Adam and Eve. God saw that it was all good. That was the sixth day. On the seventh day, God rested. God blessed the seventh day because it was a special day of rest. Adam and Eve, Genesis 2. When God made the earth, he planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and placed Adam there. In the middle of the garden, there was a beautiful fruit tree. God told Adam that he could eat anything in the garden except the fruit of that tree. When Adam first got to the garden, he gave names to all the animals. And he's looking at a bear and he's thinking, beer, burr, rare, bear. But Adam became lonely, so God created Eve. Together, Adam and Eve cared for the garden and lived in peace with all the animals. The snake was the slyest of all animals in the garden. He came to Eve one day and said, the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden looks very sweet. Why don't you taste it? And Eve said, God said we should not eat it. And the snake said, try it anyway. So Eve ate the fruit and shared some with Adam too. After they ate the fruit, Adam and Eve knew they had done something wrong. They were frightened and hid themselves in the garden. God knew that what Adam and Eve had done. He was sad that they had not obeyed him, and he was angry with that sneaky snake. God said to the snake, because you have done this, you must crawl on your belly from now on. The snake crawled away, and snakes have been crawling ever since. To Adam and Eve, God said, since you have not followed the rules in my garden, you must go out and grow your own food. Adam and Eve had to leave the garden. God placed angels and a flaming sword to guard the entrance. Adam and Eve could not go back. They went out into the world and began to farm the land, and they had many children. Noah's Ark, Genesis 6. After many years, God saw that most of the people on the earth were doing evil things. And you've got one making fun of an old person, one hitting someone else on the head, and one frustrating someone else, another person kicking a dog. And that's so rude. A rich person walking by a poor person and not offering to help, someone stealing, someone hoarding a bunch of money. God decided that he should destroy all life on earth and start over. But there was one man, Noah, who was a good man. God wanted to save him, so he warned Noah that a great flood was coming. He told Noah to build a giant boat called an ark. He was to take his family and two of every kind of creature, male and female, into the ark with him. Noah started to build the ark. His whole family helped him. They worked hard. It took a very long time to build the ark, but they knew they had to finish it before the great flood. Other people watched Noah's family at work. The people were puzzled. They could not figure out why Noah was building such a huge boat. Finally, the ark was finished. Noah and his family began to gather all the food they would need during the flood. Excuse me. It was a very big job. They needed food for themselves and food for all the animals that would be in the ark with them. When everything was ready, God sent all the animals, 2 by 2, to the ark. Noah checked the different kinds off on a long list. It took many days for the animals to march on board. Noah's family led the animals to stalls and pens inside the ark, and birds perched up on the beams. When the creatures were safe on board, God shut the doors and windows of the ark. What's up with your eye? Can I see? Well, could I actually look and see what I'm doing here? No? It's got an itchy eye? Alright. Let's see, and there's peacocks and turkeys and geese and seagulls and vultures and swans. Where are the rhinos? Do you see the rhinos? Can you show me the rhinos? Darling, where are the rhinos? Yeah, good job. How about where are the giraffes? Yeah, good job. How about the pandas? Where are the pandas? Yeah, they're in the corner over there. Good job. It started to rain. It rained and rained and rained. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Water covered all the earth, and all living things were destroyed. Only Noah, his family, and the animals in the ark with him were safe. When the rain finally stopped, the water began to go down. The ark came to rest on a mountaintop, but there was still water all over the earth. Noah sent out a raven to see if there was dry land anywhere, but the raven did not come back. Then Noah sent out a dove. The dove came back with an olive leaf in its beak, so Noah knew it was safe to go out. All the animals soon left the ark. Happily they galloped and crawled and flew out onto the dry land. Noah gave thanks to God that they were safe. Then Noah saw a rainbow in the clouds. It was a sign from God that he would not bring so great a flood on the earth again. The tall tower, Genesis 11. After the flood, everyone in the world spoke the same language. The people decided to show their power by building a great tower that would reach up to heaven. Thousands of people gathered to help build the tower. First, the people made bricks to build the tower. Then they set to work. They worked very hard. The tower began to rise. It rose higher and higher toward heaven. But God did not want the people to build a tower up to heaven. He knew it was not good for them to have such power. They would think they had more power than even God, and they would become wicked. So God made all the people speak different languages. Suddenly the people found they could not understand each other. They grew angry and got in fights about how to do their work. Everyone gave up working on the tower. They left it unfinished and went off in different directions to live all over the world. That is how people began to speak different languages. Okay. Joseph and his brothers. Genesis 37. Jacob was a man chosen by God to be the father of a nation called Israel. His 12 sons would be the leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob's favorite son was named Joseph. One day, Jacob gave Joseph a special coat made of many colors, and that made his brothers jealous. Joseph went looking for his brothers. When they saw him coming in his special coat, the brothers felt so jealous, that they stole his coat and threw him down in a pit. They left him there to die. Oh my goodness. Some traders who were on their way to Egypt soon came by. The brothers had a new plan. They would sell Joseph to these traders. They pulled Joseph out of the pit and sold him. Then Joseph was taken to Egypt. There the traders sold him as a slave in the palace of Pharaoh the king. One of Joseph's brothers, named Reuben, felt guilty about what they had done and went back for Joseph, but he was gone. So Reuben asked his brothers to tear Joseph's coat and put blood on it. They told their father Jacob that Joseph had been killed by a wild animal. Jacob was very sad and wept for his lost son. In Egypt, Joseph worked hard. He was given a job by an important man in Pharaoh's palace. Before long, Joseph heard that Pharaoh had a dream that worried him. Pharaoh wanted to know what his dream meant, and Joseph was good at explaining dreams. So he explained Pharaoh's dream to him. Pharaoh was pleased and put Joseph in charge of his palace. Many years later, Joseph's brothers had to travel to Egypt to buy food because there was not enough food in the land. They came to the palace and asked Joseph to sell them food. They did not recognize Joseph, but he recognized them. At first, he was angry with them and had his brothers put in prison. Later, Joseph changed his mind. He felt sorry for his brothers and let them out of prison. Finally, Joseph told them who he was. They all wept and hugged each other. Then they brought their father down to Egypt to join them. Jacob was very happy to find his long-lost son. Jacob's people, the Israelites, all moved to Egypt with him. The story of Moses, Exodus 1. A new Pharaoh ruled in Egypt. He did not like the Israelites. He made them work very hard. Pharaoh thought there were too many Israelites and decided to get rid of all their baby boys. What is going on, you two? One Israelite woman tried to save her baby boy. She put him in a basket and left him by the river's edge. The daughter of the Pharaoh came down to the river and found the basket with the little baby crying inside. She felt sorry for him and decided to raise him as her own son. He grew up to be a prince of Egypt and was called Moses. When Moses grew up, he learned he was an Israelite, being angry about how badly his people were treated by Pharaoh. He ran away from Egypt and lived in the desert herding sheep. One day, while watching his flock on a mountain, Moses saw a burning bush. It was on fire, but its leaves did not burn up. A voice came from the bush. It was the voice of God. And look, he's with his sheep, and even the sheep were shocked. I don't know if you can see that. But look, like especially this one right here, he's like, what? God told Moses that he wanted him to go back to Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let all the Israelites go free. Moses was to lead God's people out of Egypt. Moses did not think he could do it alone. God told Moses he would be helped by his brother, Aaron. So Moses obeyed God. When Moses went back to Egypt, he went with his brother Aaron to Pharaoh. The Lord says, let my people go, they told Pharaoh. But Pharaoh would not let the Israelites go. So God punished Pharaoh and all of Egypt. First, God turned the river Nile, into blood. All the fish in the river died, and no one could drink the water. But Pharaoh still refused to let the people go. God punished Pharaoh again and again. God sent frogs, insects, sickness, hail, locusts, and darkness over the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh still would not let the people go. We had locusts in Vegas here not that long ago. That was not a fun time. At last, Pharaoh was warned that if he did not let the Israelites go, many Egyptians would die in one night. God told Moses that the Israelites should mark their doors with red so that none of them would die. On that night, many Egyptians died, but no Israelites died. Finally, Pharaoh agreed to let God's people go. The Israelites gathered all their belongings together, all their food and their animals, and Moses led them out of Egypt, across the desert, to a new land. And that's where we'll stop for tonight. What do you think? Yeah, I think it's a good spot to stop. Okay. So you need to get some sleep and stay asleep in your bed all night long instead of being in the guest room suddenly. Woke up at 4:30 to go to the bathroom only to find the lights on the house and him in the guest room. Okay, so let's plug this in. Where's your other tablet? We don't know? Great. Okay. Well, all right, guys. All right, well, we will see you tomorrow when we continue reading through our book. All right. Good night, everyone.